Yes, good morning, everybody. And now, unfortunately, the Coast Guard has begun the grim task of treating this as a recovery mission following that collapse of the bridge just a little more than 24 hours ago, and just a quarter mile from where we're standing here, where 6 men have been presumed dead following the collapse. Now, in terms of the collapse and in terms of the group, they were part of a group of contractors who were filling potholes on the bridge when the ship destroyed the 47-year-old bridge instantly. The ship lost power a few minutes before impact, and it was a distressed mayday call that was able to alert the authorities in just enough time to stop the traffic from getting onto that bridge. That averted an even bigger tragedy. And the federal response to this has been swift, by the way, as the White House has already pledged its full support for not just the investigation, but for the rebuild. But also the FBI and NTSB are investigating this incident. There are 24 NTSB investigators on the scene, and their goal is to recover the ship's data recorder, which is similar to the black box that you would find in an airplane, as well as looking at maintenance records. And while the NTSB does investigate this and the Coast Guard is treating this like a recovery mission, miraculously there were also 2 survivors in this as well. One of them declined medical attention yesterday, while the other was briefly hospitalized before being released to head home. Here in Baltimore, I'm J. Scott Smith for WGAL News 8. And very clearly, it is very snowy out here in Dauphin County. We're actually near Swatara Township, and if you can see it, that's 283. This is the level of visibility or lack thereof that we've had around here for most of the morning. The snow has been coming down, as Christine has mentioned, at a pretty high clip of around 1 to 2 inches per hour. We've seen a fair amount of PennDOT plow trucks, salt trucks. People are taking it easy and taking it slow on those roads, because if it looks like this out here, imagine what it looks like if you're in your car trying to get up the road. So people are driving below the posted speeds, which is good. They're trying to be as safe as possible, which is really the main thing out here. PennDOT, of course, has brought down all sorts of speed restrictions on all the different roads, all the major roads out here. So make sure if you are on these roads that you're taking care to get the snow off your car as best you can before you leave, making sure it doesn't cause any problems for people out there trying to get around in this really kind of nasty weather. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of wind out here, as mentioned by Christine. Yes, good morning, everybody. And that's right. It is still a very active scene. I'll step aside here and give you a look, because as you see here, the focal point are these 3 row homes, and as you see, the firefighters are still working to put out some of the flames here. What you can't see is the back end of this house. The roof on this house has actually started to collapse in. Now, from what we understand, there is a fatality. There has been a fatality here. The coroner has been here, and they have actually gotten the victim out of this house. The fire started about 3 hours ago, right around 3:30 a.m. It's a very dangerous scene out here, and Harrisburg Fire Chief Brian Interline says this fire was particularly difficult and dangerous to deal with.
We were faced with a lot of conditions here from the collapse of the building. We have the roof of the building has collapsed in, made it very difficult to get into that building to fight it. So it was putting a lot of water in from the outside. And unfortunately, we have no access to the rear of the building either, because it's all backyards that are fenced in. So it was a real tough firefight for us. And at the end of the day, it's a tragedy. We did lose a victim here. We have no information on that person at this time.
Now, the chief did note that the victim is a woman. They found her on the 2nd floor of this building. And as you see here, as the sun starts to come up, you can actually see the damage as the roof has begun to collapse in on this building. They're still working to get the fire fully put out, but we'll have more information on this throughout the morning here, both on air and online. Yeah, good morning, Caitlin and Matt. Good morning, everybody. And actually, as you can see here, off to this side, the crews are actually working on extricating this truck from this front yard. Now, about a half hour ago, crews removed the pickup truck that was involved in this accident, as well as another trailer. This all goes back to just before 1 a.m. when this accident occurred, where that tractor trailer hit a pickup truck head on, causing the semi to jackknife into that yard and destroying the pickup truck. The Adams County coroner was indeed called out here, and there has been a fatality in this accident. And Ken Sassaman has lived in that house for 30 years. Needless to say, he was surprised at what he saw.
Bang, and I thought, well, somebody just hit another deer. But then when the fire company got here and put their pole light up and turned the lights on, it shines back into my bedroom, and it woke that. I thought, what's that? So I got up and looked out the window, and I saw the tractor trailer in the front yard.
Now, Sassaman also said that he's seen a lot of accidents along this stretch of Route 30, which he attributes to speeding. And complicating matters in this accident is that a massive fuel spill was caused by that truck. According to PennDOT, more than 200 gallons of diesel fuel has spilled following this accident. Now, the fuel cleanup is also getting underway, and as you can see here again, they're working to remove that truck from Mr. Sassaman's yard. They've already taken the pickup truck that was involved out of here as well. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this after this fatal overnight accident here in Gettysburg. On Route 30, I'm Jay Scott Smith. Let's head back to you in the studio.
All right, that is a bad crash. Thanks.
Yes, indeed, Matt and Caitlin. Good morning, everybody. And obviously behind us here, you see firefighters still working to put out what's left of this fire. And as Matt mentioned, the York County coroner has been called to the scene and is on the way right now of what has now turned out to be a deadly fire this morning here in York City. This is what it looks like right now. But earlier on our Skycam, this was about a couple of hours ago, you could see the massive flames that were coming out of this row home here on the corner of Columbia and Renicky here in York. It was a massive fire that woke up a lot of the neighbors. They actually had to cut the power to a lot of the neighborhood because of this fire. As we've been hearing from neighbors through here, they were saying they were seeing flames coming out of this home as early as 6 a.m. So right now the fire trucks are still out here. Firefighters are still working their way through the building, taking out some of the hot spots. We've seen the hoses still hitting this building even over the last few minutes. But as has been mentioned, we have gotten to confirm that the York County coroner is on the way out here to basically confirm we do have at least one fatality in this fire here this morning, here again on the corner of Columbia and Renicky in York City. Right, well, we'll have more, of course, on this throughout the morning and get you an update on exactly what else is going on out here in York. I'm Jay Scott Smith. Let's head back to the studio.
All right. Thanks, Jay, for that update.